then let's copy this table into this table here. So we'll copy these together. Make sure they're the same, because again, our idle or the ignition blend table here is blending here between these two. So we want to make sure that they're identical so there's no timing offset. So now our timing here, our base timing should be at 5 degrees, but we can see our actual timing here is varying around a little bit. If we jump back into idle control, we're going to find that it's going to be pulling it down here. We can see that it's fluctuating here. We can see the timing's bouncing all over the place, and that's dynamically trying to control the idle very quickly with the spark timing. So the spark timing can vary the idle torque much more adaptive and much more reactive than airflow. So it's always beneficial to kind of get your idle airflow sorted out, whether it's going to be in your actual airflow table here or the idle control tables if you're running an IAC, and get that airflow kind of steady, or in drive-by-wire, having your throttle plate open a relatively steady amount, and then using your timing here to control the rest. So I'm overshooting my airflow need for the engine about 200 RPMs. If I took all of my timing control off here, we'd be idling around 1200, and I'm using my timing to offset, bringing down my idle torque to where I want to be at, or within, let's say, 30 to 40 RPM of where I want to be at. See, our idle target is around 1030. We're at 1060, that's pretty close. And then if I'm finding that the engine's dropping down into idle, I'm going to be able to add timing in very quickly, bringing back my idle torque, and then blocking it out from stalling because I have that reserve of airflow coming into our engine because we have our throttle stop opened a little bit more than we need. So I hope that makes sense of what we're trying to do here. So we have this kind of back and forth. We have airflow and spark timing, and it's always going to be a balancing act trying to get both working together correctly. But my suggestion, my advice would be overdo your airflow by a little bit, and then use your spark timing to make those small corrections. And then when you come into idle, I'm going to rev it real quick right here and see what's going to happen. If I kind of blip the throttle, notice that it just holds a rock steady idle. Flip it up here again real quick. Notice that that just changes. It's right on the money here. Now, as I'm giving some throttle input, it is kind of bogging out. That's because we turned off our wall wetting here, and we're going to be getting into all that. So that's creating a major issue. It's actually creating it to bog. If I take a look right here, if I hit the throttle, it's going to go dead lean right there. You can see it. It needs tip-in throttle enrichment, which we zeroed out because we want to calibrate this table here. We may have to put it back in because it may not even be drivable like this, but the idle RPM is rock solid right now. I'm happy with this. And then one more point I want to make here before we end this video. If we go into our spark timing here, and we go into our ignition trim coolant temp map, this will be a offset and add timing against whatever our timing map's at here. So this is just going to be adding, let's say we're on a colder temps, 6 degrees to whatever is here. So if my base timing is at 5 degrees normally on a warm idle, it would be then at 11 degrees. We know by bumping the timing up, it's going to bump up our idle RPM 100, 200 RPMs. That's going to be giving us idle torque back. We may want to here, in our idle, the ignition trim coolant map, we might want to go in here at the colder temps and bump this up something like 12 degrees. That will allow us to then fire up the engine and potentially hold an idle better because we don't have an idle control motor. So it's something to think about. You don't necessarily have to do this, but it's something to think about when you're working with your timing. Let's just do H here and blend that back in. So as we go up in coolant temp, 140 and higher, all that ignition timing adder offsets goes away, and we're riding right on our spark timing tables. But on a cold start, on a cold engine for idle control, we'll find that it'll add this much timing back to what we find here, and we'll find that the idle torque will be better. And we'll find that because we don't have an idle control motor to let that airflow in, we can kind of make up for that lost torque and potentially have the engine cold start and hold an idle. So that's going to wrap it up here. Let me shut off the engine real quick. That's going to wrap it up here. We covered a lot of things in detail. Hopefully everything makes sense. In the next video, we're going to learn how to do our part throttle tuning, doing fuel and spark timing. I'm going to be introducing a new way to do your fuel tuning using Megalog Viewer. I introduced it into the training course, but we're going to be incorporating it into this video here so you're able to utilize your feedback percentage for your, jumping in here, VE table, using your actual injector lambda feedback value, so that when you're going in and evaluating what kind of changes you make in your table, your Megalog Viewer is going to be showing you the overlay, and you're going to know exactly what to update your table by certain percentages. So we've learned a lot. I'll wrap it up here. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here. And you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.